Why did they steal the gold? So that they could buy the guns. Because we know that all the gun crime is happening with stolen guns. See, the Prime Minister wants to ban all civilian law-abiding people from owning guns, but he wants to allow every criminal to have as many guns as they want. And I'm not just talking about rifles. I'm talking about machine guns, fully loaded machine guns that are being found on the street that never existed since they were banned in the 70s. But now the criminals can get them because the Prime Minister has mismanaged the federal borders and ports, and because he's wasting so much money going after the good guys, while your leader and the Prime Minister look down on those people and think that they are to blame for crime. We know that the hunters are the salt of the earth. They're the best people around, and we're going to make sure that they can keep their hunting right. God love them. God love them. God love every one of them. Finally, we will stop the gun crime. We know, Madam Speaker, the gun crime is out of control. Just yesterday, we saw this gold heist where we found out that, by the way, all the gold thieves, they're out on bail already, not to worry. They'll have to send this Prime Minister a nugget of gold to thank him for passing C-75 and letting them out of jail within a few days of this monster gold heist. We knew that, why did they steal the gold? So that they could buy the guns. Because we know that all the gun crime is happening with stolen guns. See, the Prime Minister wants to ban all civilian law-abiding people from owning guns, but he wants to allow every criminal to have as many guns as they want. And I'm not just talking about rifles. I'm talking about machine guns, fully loaded machine guns that are being found on the street that never existed since they were banned in the 70s. But now the criminals can get them because the Prime Minister has mismanaged the federal borders and ports, and because he's wasting so much money going after the good guys. He wants to ban your hunting rifle. He said so in a December 2022 interview with CTV. It was very clear. If you have a hunting rifle, he will have to take it away. And he kept his word by introducing a 300-page amendment to his Bill C-21, which would have banned 300 pages of the most popular and safe hunting rifles. He only put that policy on hold because of a backlash that Common Sense Conservatives led that included rural Canadians, First Nations Canadians, NDPers from rural communities like yours, Madam Speaker, had to flip-flop. I know that in places like Kapuskasing, the law-abiding people enjoy hunting, and we know that while your leader and the Prime Minister look down on those people and think that they are to blame for crime, we know that the hunters in Kapuskasing are the salt of the earth. They're the best people around, and we're going to make sure that they can keep their hunting right. God love them. God love them. God love every one of them. Madam Speaker, while the Prime Minister wants to protect turkeys from hunters, Common Sense Conservatives want to protect Canadians from criminals. And that is why we will repeal his insane policies. By the way, I should point out, he hasn't actually done any of the bans. Remember, he had that big press conference during the election, and he said to his policy team that morning, I need you to come up with a policy that will allow me to put a big, scary-looking black gun on my podium sign. And then they said, okay, we'll think of something. And he put that scary-looking gun on his podium sign. He said, well, I'm going to ban all of these assault rifles. Well, they asked him, what is an assault rifle? He said, well, I don't know, but it's that black, scary thing on the front of my podium sign is the assault rifle we're referring to. And all these years later, it's now, what is it, 3 years later since he made the promise? He was asked again in the hallways, what is an assault rifle? Well, I'm still working to figure it out, he says. So these rifles that he says he's going to ban one day, he doesn't know what they are, but one day he's going to figure it out and he's going to ban them. In the meantime, he has spent $40 million to buy exactly 0 guns from owners. He said that he was going to ban them and buy them from the owners. Not one gun has been taken off the street. $40 million. Madam Speaker, we could have used that money to hire CBSA officers who would have secured our ports against the thousands of illegal guns that are pouring in and killing people on our streets. When I'm Prime Minister, we will cancel this multi-billion-dollar waste of money. We will use it to hire frontline boots on the ground who will inspect those shipping containers and scanners that can pierce inside to stop the drugs, stop the illegal guns, stop the export of our stolen cars, stop the crime. Madam Speaker, what you're seeing here is a very different philosophical approach. The finance minister said in her concluding remarks that what we need is a bigger and stronger government. Doesn't that sound eerie? A bigger and, in other words, she and he want to be bigger and stronger.
That's right. Yeah.
Right? And that's why they're always trying to make Canadians feel weaker and smaller. He literally called our people a small, fringe minority. He jabs his fingers in the faces of our citizens. He calls small businesses tax cheats. He claims hunters are just Americans. If you own a hunting rifle, you're just an American. He points his fingers at people who disagree with him. He has the audacity of claiming anyone who is offside with him is a racist. This a guy who dressed up in racist costumes so many times, he can't remember them all. He's been denigrating other people his whole life. That's because it's all about him. It's all about concentrating more power and more money in his hands. This budget is no different. It's about a bigger government and smaller citizens. It's about buying his way through the next election with cash that the working class people have earned and he has burned. By contrast, I want the opposite. I want smaller government to make room for bigger citizens. I want a state that is a servant and not the master. I want a country where the Prime Minister actually lives up to the meaning of the word. Prime, first, minister, servant. That's what minister means. Minister is not master, minister is servant. We need a country that puts people back in charge of their money, their communities, their families, and their lives. A country based on the common sense of the common people, united for our common home. Your home, my home, our home. Let's bring it home.
When you have a government that is really tough on gun owners, but really soft on crime, they're going to use that increase in crime to continue with their ideological agenda against gun owners.